let's refresh the chat, and this will just clear out the chat history. And again, what you can do here, so I can add a note and say unknown or more research, right? 4K is not discussed as a ranking factor. And so I've got that note. One of the things about this is the briefing doc is always nice to generate, and then this audio overview. And so you can just generate here with one click. And let me just make sure this is, so this is still on custom. But you can do this overview here, and this will generate a deep dive discussion about the main points. What's really interesting about this is AI, but it really sounds like two people having a conversation. And the thing that makes this really important is that it's an easier way to learn. When you're reading a lot of the stuff, like you're reading a blog post, that's certainly one way to learn something. But if you can walk around with your headphones in and listen to this conversation, you might actually pick up a lot more, because humans are hardwired to learn by stories. And this is more of a story. So you can generate the audio overview here, or you can actually customize it and say, focus on some specific thing. Where do you want to focus on? And this is a great way to help guide the output based on what your input. So let's just click audio overview, and it'll take a few minutes for this to generate, and then we'll come back and we'll listen to that. And this should be really exciting. All right, so now we're going to get to the audio overview, and this will sound just like a podcast. There's like ums and ahs in it, and that makes it very interesting. And as I said, this is a really great way to learn content, because you'll actually learn better, particularly about complex topics, financial topics, topics that are complicated from this audio overview. So I'll just show you a little bit of how it sounds.
Welcome to I've curated just for you all about the YouTube algorithm. You've sent over a really interesting mix of sources, videos from YouTube themselves, tips from creators, and even some pretty in-depth articles.
What I find fascinating is so many of these sources, they emphasize the same thing. It's that chasing the algorithm directly is. It's like trying to catch smoke. It's elusive. They're all data points feeding the algorithm's understanding of what each user enjoys. It's constantly building these detailed profiles of viewer preferences.
So it's like YouTube is creating a personalized viewing experience for every single user.
Precisely. And it goes even deeper than that. Your sources reveal that YouTube also takes into account factors, time of day.
As you can see, this is a great way to assimilate content, and they're going very in depth here. And this is like a 20-minute thing that I can pop in and listen to while I'm doing something else, while I'm cooking, while I'm going for a walk, all that sort of thing. And you can change the playback speed. You can also download it. You can regenerate it as well. And I've just downloaded it right there. And we're going to get into how you can use that a little bit later. But they also have this interactive mode, which is in beta. And this is really interesting. You're going to have to allow your microphone with this. But basically, what I can do is I can play the audio.
Welcome to Curated, just for you all about the YouTube algorithm.
Okay. And as they're talking, I can join.
Oh, my listeners got something to say.
And so I can say, I can ask them like a specific question. So I can say, so what's the most important factor for when you're uploading your video?
Great question.
I like that you're thinking about the content.
We're actually going to unpack that question in a bit.
It's really about how the algorithm works to deliver content.
What's fascinating, so many sources emphasize the same thing.
Chasing the algorithm directly is like trying to catch.
All right. And then it goes back to what it was in. But this is a great way to interact, and you can actually ask for a little bit more detail about certain things. Like obviously, if this was at a particular part where I asked a specific question about that part, then they go into that section a little bit deeper. And just the way that they naturally can bring in that language where it actually sounds like there's that real interaction. It makes you feel really included in the process and in the creation. And again, when you're in the creation, it's so much easier to learn something than if you're just reading a static blog post or watching a YouTube video and seeing all these other videos and all these thumbnails that are trying to drag your attention away. This is a really fantastic way to learn things that are difficult to learn, that require a lot of focus. And if you need to break it down in a concise way, this is pretty awesome.